So let's talk about approaching and starting a conversation with a woman. Probably the most common question I get from guys is, what do I say? What's the first line? Give me your best line, Chris. What's the first thing that I say to a girl? I'm going to give you a little secret, all right? The first thing you say doesn't matter at all. It hardly matters at all. There's only one line that I really tell guys like they're not allowed to use, and that line is the one that most guys use, like literally 90% of guys out there at bars use, and that is, hey, how's it going? All right? Please don't use, hey, how's it going? Other ones that are basically the same thing are, hey, what's up? How are you doing? You guys having fun? All right? These are boring questions. Like you're not even trying hard enough to think of an interesting question. All right? It's just saying like, hey, I don't have anything to say. Do you have something to say? That's what hey, what's up is like, okay? So as long as you're doing better than that, you're actually performing better than, let's say, 80% of men, okay? If not 90% of men. Right. And so that first thing that you say doesn't really matter. What matters more is the second thing you say, or the third thing you say, or the fourth thing you say. So one line I give guys is to say, hey, I saw you back there and I thought you had a really interesting style. I had to come over and say hi. Nothing special, nothing magical about that line. And what makes that line work is if you follow it up with something, because what's going to happen is when you say that line, girl's going to go, oh, wow, okay. She's just going to stop. She's not going to start talking to you. She's going to give you like 10 seconds that you can use to either move that conversation forward and build a closer connection, or you can just blow it, which is what, again, 90% of guys do. So, saw you back there. I thought you had a really interesting style. I had to come over, say hi. You've got this Spanish thing going on. What's your background? That might be your follow-up. But it's about that follow-up. It's about I saw you back there. I thought you had a really interesting style. I had to come over, say hi. You have this. Let me guess something about your style. I'm going to ask you a question that's related to that. If that is an interesting question, you will have a conversation going. All right? If that is a boring question or a lame question, you're going to continue to struggle. You might get blown out. So it's that second thing that you say more often than the first thing that really matters. And what the first thing you need to do when you're approaching is you need to come in with that energy, that right body language, that right attitude. That's what's going to make things work for you or not work. So guys are always obsessed with that opening line. What's that first thing to say? Because they think it needs to be really, really interesting. They think if they say something really, really cool, then women will like them. And if they don't say something really cool, well, they're out of luck. And what a lot of the time that question is, that question like, oh, what do I say? What's that line? That looking for that opening line. A lot of the time, these are guys who they're just procrastinating. I want to talk to this girl. Oh, wait, that's scary. Oh, I don't have the right thing to say, so I'm not going to say anything at all. All right? And if you really want to get good at this, you have to change your attitude, and you have to not be some guy who's like, oh, I'm going to wait for everything to be perfect before I'm going to go over and talk to somebody I'm interested, start a conversation with somebody. I'm going to just walk up there and talk with what I have to say. All right, and I'm going to do that with confidence. All right, and that's the attitude that confident guys have. It's just that coming in with that attitude, I'm good enough, and what I have to say is good enough. And if you come in with that attitude, plus smile on your face, good body language, not an arrogant attitude, but like a confident attitude, like hey, I'm as good as anybody else in this bar here. People are here to socialize. I want to talk to you. What's your name? I haven't met you yet. There's another line. Hey, what's your name? I haven't met you yet. That works fine, all right? And if you think you need a magical line to approach women, you don't, all right? It's about that follow-up thing. It's about that conversation thing. A lot of guys get approach anxiety. They get that fear of what are things going to go wrong? They get a whole bunch of anxiety around the idea of talking to women. It's normal. It's like, 90% of my students have it. I used to deal with it a lot. I still deal with it. I think it's a normal thing for human beings to have. It's just a little bit the way we're programmed. But here's one thing with approach anxiety. This is something I learned from Dave Vox. Because I sat in on his boot camp a month ago, because I sit in on instructors' boot camps on a regular basis to make sure that I'm learning all the latest stuff and that they're doing a really good job. And Dave said this, and it was really gold. He says, you can't fix your approach anxiety by thinking about your approach anxiety. And that was really deep to me, because I think that one issue that a lot of guys have, and it applies to a lot of stuff in game and socialization, is you can't fix the problem by thinking about the problem. So this is something that sounds strange to engineers, because if you're an engineer or any kind of analytical thinking type, so guys who are in finance, doctors have this a lot, lawyers, anybody who's gone to school for more than 4 years after high school, let's say, you're used to having this idea that if there's a problem, you sit and you think about it and you can come up with a solution to the problem. And the problem is with social situations, that doesn't work. You can't fix your own emotional problems by thinking about your emotional problems. You can't fix your anxiety by thinking about your anxiety. And it's invulnerable to reason. And that's why it's still there. That's why it's anxiety and not the rational fear of danger. It is immune to that reason. And so what you need to do is you need to train yourself. You need to work on training yourself to get rid of that approach anxiety. And how do you train yourself? It's exposure therapy. It's exposure therapy, the same as they do with people with phobias or anything. It's if you can't go all the way, let's say you can't go all the way to approaching a woman who's a 10 out of 10, the kind of woman that you're really interested in, how do you get better at that? How do you get closer to that goal? Well, you start by chatting up people around you, chatting up guys, chatting up women that you're not interested in. Just working on being social in general. Just work on the smallest step you can take that gets you closer to your goal. And any long journey is made up of these tiny little steps. And the people who don't get there, who don't make that long journey, are often the people who are like, oh, this step is too small. Oh, I don't want to talk to, I want to talk to the models. I don't want to talk to just the girls around the bar. Well, you don't get to talk to the models unless you talk to the regular girls in the bar first. And so everybody, if you want to improve, you have to have the humility to recognize that even a big journey, even a big improvement, requires a lot of small little steps, and no step should be too small to take if you really want to get to that goal. And so you break it down into these little steps, and you just keep on moving. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It can sometimes be an evening, just one evening, where you go from being afraid to talk to people in general, to talking to friendly-looking strangers, to talking to everybody, to talking to the most intimidating people in the room. It can do it in a night, but it has to be broken down into all these small little steps. And that's the number one thing I can tell you about approach anxiety, is that really, when it comes to approaching, it's about training yourself to make it something natural. And once it becomes something natural, it's really easy. People want to talk to you. People in this world are lonely. All right? There's so many people out here who are on their phones, who just wish that somebody interesting would come and talk to them, and just have an agenda of having fun. Right? And it doesn't happen to a lot of people in their day-to-day life. And so if you learn how to be that person who can just start a conversation with strangers, people will reciprocate. Some people will be dickheads, no matter what. But 90% of the population will be happy to talk to you. And it's just about getting to that right mind space emotionally, because I think everybody has it inside of them to be an outgoing and fun person. Anyway, I'm Chris Shepard. I'm one of the head honchos here at Love Systems, and thank you so much for paying attention to my rant for, I don't even know how long that was. But that's the first frustration of approaching, and there's going to be 5 more segments in the series, 6 total. So make sure to sign up for all of them, and if you do want to get access to this whole series, you can go to survey.lovesystems.com and fill out our 3-question survey, where we're going to ask you some of the 3 questions that are important to your journey as a guy who's looking to get better at dating. And we're going to be able to give you personalized advice based off of your responses to that questionnaire. So please go to survey.lovesystems.com if you want to take action in improving your dating life right now. Survey.lovesystems.com, fill out that survey, and let us know what your dating issues are, and we'll see how we can help you.